Neverending Chain by Dragon Translator. Chapter 48. He is me boy. Stoic stared at the changeling, still reeling a bit at his story, and how close it ran to his and Hiccup's past. Stoic took a deep breath. Monsters indeed. This dragon, above all, proved they were no different than humans in many regards. Stoic knew more than his fair share of men whose minds snapped when their wife, or another of their family, was killed and they felt themselves powerless to prevent it. Stoic also knew it had been the fact that he had to lead the village and raise his son that kept him away from diving off a cliff after Valka was taken. Stoic felt guilt fall like a stone onto his heart. Valka had seen this. She had noticed the dragons were not the monsters everyone believed them to be. He had not listened to her, certain in the teachings he had been given by his father and grandfather, and he had lost her. Hiccup had seen the same as Valka, and Stoic knew he had made the same mistake as before, and he had almost lost his son to that same blind grasping of how things had always been. How different would things had been once he acted in the manner that he always said he did, listening to everything his entire tribe said, weighing their words carefully, and never dismissing out of hand any concern of any member had.
"You came to me?"
Stoic asked, in an effort to drag his mind from those thoughts. They would do him no good anymore. The dragons may have named him Alpha, but he is still a youngling, and you are his father. Had he been an adult, I would not have come to you. Stoic frowned. The dragon's words gave rise to things that had perplexed him since all of this began.
"Do you know why those dragons named me boy their Alpha, if he be so young in your eyes?"
The changeling blinked. I was not there when your son was named Alpha. I only know the tale he and his Windshrieker brother gave, and I suspect there were parts they left out, due to time and a reluctance to voice events personal to them. Stoic realized right then that he had not seen the gods' images in Gida's cave. He also might not know the full story of how Hiccup and Toothless met, and became the team they were. Stoic sent up a silent thank you to whatever god was listening at that moment. And not only for allowing them to view those images. He thanked the gods for Gida being allowed to come and live with them. Vikings did view magic with more mistrust than dragons. But with the memories came the knowledge that Gothi had accepted what had happened in Gida's home. The Order also accepted Gida's place in the tribe. The gods spoke through Gothi, so her etched-out runes held more weight than even his own spoken words.
"Your son and his brother said the dragons who now live on the bigger island used to relieve themselves upon the humans' territory, and would steal food from you all."
The changeling's voice pulled Stoic back from his thoughts once more.
"Aye. My son gave him mercy after we learned why they be acting that way."
The changeling tilted his head and then shook.
"No, your son forgave them. To dragons, mercy and forgiveness are two separate things, and forgiveness is the greater of the two." "Oh? How so?" "Mercy only drops the offence, but allows for its remembrance. It allows for the offence to be brought up again at the whim of the leader who offered mercy. Forgiveness erases the offence completely. It says the leader who gives forgiveness will never again remember what wrong done them, no matter what happens."
Stoic blinked.
"So Hiccup forgiven those dragons?" He told them their actions never happened according to his memory. "He told me he extended that forgiveness to the raids while the war was going on."
And, by doing so, he told those dragons that they never violated civility laws against him, before or after the war.
"He said those laws be important to your dragons.
They are all that kept us from killing ourselves long before that fallen queen's parents were thought in their parents' minds."
"You were at war with other dragons?"
If individual species fighting other species was not bad enough, back then massive dragons
who held power in their voice to command a multitude of dragons, would pit their followers against the followers of other similar dragons. There would be no dragons now if elders of that time did not react.
The changeling paused.
And many still do not believe this to be true, but those elders acted because they befriended a small flock of humans and learned how to love like humans did. Yeah, dragons do not love like you do now. No. Back then, the dragons were too arrogant in their belief they were superior to everything and everyone. That's what caused those massive dragons to pit their followers against others. They sought to be the only alpha every dragon bowed to. So I'm guessing that since you said others ne'er believed humans helping be the reason dragons ne'er extend civility laws to us, before me boy killed that monster.
The changeling smiled.
Your way of phrasing things fascinates me.
He blinked and cleared his throat.
Sorry, my mate is forever telling me to keep my mind on the task at hand. I keep telling her that there are too many things at times like that to pop into view and say, "Hi, look at me." She never likes it when I say that. Stoic cackled. Sounds like some of the complaints I hear from men in the tribe about their wives.
The changeling laughed. Oh, I am so glad your son freed mine. I am enjoying meeting you and the rest of this nest. But to answer your question, yes. It took many seasons to bring the relative peace dragons now have with each other. There are still flocks and nests that cling to the old ways, like the tail stingers who invaded here. They have tried to invade my nest several times. I believe their attack now was because they grew emboldened by the lack of raiding dragons that frequented this island during the war. Those dragons would have easily taken them if kept that fallen queen from eating them. Two working together would have kept both from getting stung. Stoic frowned. Never in all my days did I think I'd be happy for them raids. The changeling snorted.
Indeed.
He then tilted his head. The elders of my old nest were the ones who did not believe the tales of humans helping bring civility laws and the peace those laws ensured. The elders of the nest I now lead do believe, and will frequently repeat those tales. They said the leader of the human flock did not wish acknowledgement for his actions, or for the actions of his flock, and that's why many dismiss the humans' involvement. Stoic looked out over the village, noting those heading for their homes as the sun began to slink beyond the edge of the world. He watched with a smile as Toothless, Stormfly, and the 3 new Night Furies took to the skies above the Hoversons' home and headed for the harbour sea stacks. He turned back to the changeling.
You have given me much to think on. I would enjoy speaking with you more.
He took a deep breath, because he knew it would help Hiccup, and that helping Hiccup meant more than anything. Gave his answer.
You can teach me, boy. Just, here's me boy, and...
Stoic's voice trailed off. He and the dragon might have more in common than he ever realised. But Stoic was still a Viking, and did not show weakness easily.
Your son said you and he were working things out together. I told him that should that ever change, I would be the father he needed. I said that because of how much he and his story touched me. I see now that I shall never have to step into that role. You are his father, human flock leader. You will always be his father.
End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that one. I love that. I like how much they're relating to each other. And that bit about the wives, that makes me chuckle a bit. And also that bit at the end with Stoic's insecurity about his place in Hiccup's life because of how similar this Changewing King is to Hiccup. That's very human, I think, and I like that the king picks up on that. He's a good character, I love him. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe, blah blah blah. Love you guys, bye!